What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within from the Alpha. Today we're continuing the profession overview video series where I'm covering every single profession in one video each and talking about their gold making aspect and everything that is new for that profession in the upcoming the War Within expansion. Once again, all of this is being done on the Alpha, so things are still subject to change and a couple things might be reworked before the release. That being said, most of the professions seem to be kind of set in stone, like they seem to be kind of fully made now, and we have like all of the talent points, all the bonuses, all the things to spend, so they seem to be somewhat fully-fledged and made now on the Alpha, and we can take a look at like how they will work. So today we're taking a look at Inscription, and once again I am usually a gold maker and a gold farmer, so I'll be tying these into gold making as well, and talking about how you can make gold with this profession and which kind of talent trees you want to focus on as well when it comes to spending your knowledge points. So as you skill up and as you do your first time crafts, you get something called a Cas Algar Inscription Knowledge. These knowledge points you can spend on further specializing into the profession, and you can go into archival additions, careful carvings, pursuit of knowledge, or pursuit of perfection. Now we can also take a look at a quick overview of what all of those are. So for archival additions, you master the creations of various inscription services and the esoteric Darkmoon cards. For the careful carvings, you master your ability to craft new weapons and professional equipment. For pursuit of knowledge, you master the fundamentals of inscription, improving your ability to craft overall and crafting in general. For pursuit of perfection, you master the art of milling and crafting reagents like inks and ciphers. That is an overview, and looking at the recipes we have, you start with very little recipes, you skill up, you learn more of them as you go, and then you get a bunch of recipes from various amounts of trainers out there. Like we have reputations you can get some recipes from, but mostly you get your different recipes from your specializations. So we have Darkmoon sigils, we have different weapons, and taking a look at the missives, for example, some of the ones we don't have, you can learn those from getting specialization points. And even going down to professional equipment, you can learn these from also, once again, specializing into the professional equipment kind of specialization inside Inscription. Same thing goes for everything else. So most of these you do get from specializations, and some of them you do unlock from various reputations and factions in the War Within. Now, while we're talking about Inscription in general, it is also worth noting the concentration aspect of Inscription. Concentration is a new stat added in to offset the imbalance of inspiration, which was basically an RNG way to get the next rank of the craft by being lucky. In this case, we can spend concentration to guarantee the next rank while we're crafting. So as you can see, I currently have 500 concentration, and I can only make tier 3 of the Silver Tongue's Quill. That being said, if I choose to spend concentration points here, we can spend 8 points to guarantee the next rank. So left clicking here, you would now spend your concentrations, and you will see this changes to yellow to show you that you are spending them, and then you would go down to 492 from crafting one of them. So for every single craft, you can offset the skill you don't have by spending concentration to then get the next rank. Okay, that's the quick introduction for Inscription. Now let's talk about all of the different specialization points that you can go for. First of all, we have the archival additions. Going into the full tree here, the first one gives you +1 skill point for everything that you're doing here when it comes to Inscription, for a total of +30. Now, across the board here, you will unlock various bonuses, most of which are skill points, when crafting lexicon-related goods. And once again, skill points, inspiration, skill and inspiration, and at the end you get some crafting speed. Now, after going this one, you can either specialize into runic research, which in this one you empower or you improve your skill to craft runic goods that empower your equipment and increase renown, gaining +1 skill per point spent for a total of 30 skills. In this one you also get some additional bonuses throughout. You will learn how to add finishing reagents when crafting runic goods. You get +5 skill, unlocking a subspec, +5 skill, +5 skill, and at the end you get the final subspec, in which case you can start specializing even further into either Vantus runes right here, or missives down here, or contract. So you can do contracts, Vantus runes, and missives, and specialize into one of them. Now over here you also unlock another recipe, by the way. Unlock Vantus rune recipe, and then here you unlock missive recipe, and over here you unlock contract recipe. This is how you expand the amount of recipes you have by getting more stuff. Now on the other side, here, we have the cryptic collection. This one has to do with Darkmoon cards. Improve your ability to craft Darkmoon cards, gaining +1 skill when crafting Darkmoon cards per point spent in this subspecialization. Now over here you will also get various bonuses when going through this. It's usually +5 skill every single time, and then you can focus on going deeper into one type of card. So you have the Radiance card, you have the Symbiosis card, you have the Vivacity card, and finally you have the Evolution card. This one will also, once again, just give you some skill points while crafting, and you will also get some bonuses. It is worth noting, the extracting a evolution card grants you a stack of favored fortune. Upon reaching 10 stacks, the card presents itself. So you still have the same thing with extracting. In this one, learn how to extract evolution cards, gaining reagents used to craft more cards. So you can get the most expensive one, learn how to extract that one, and get reagents back that are used in crafting that card. The whole extraction and the extraction process was really profitable in Dragonflight, so it is worth noting that this could be profitable again in the War Within, in which case you want to focus on whatever card has the most expensive element. Now, the price of the card doesn't really matter that much, the price of the element would matter in this case, because you would get the elements or the materials back when you're extracting. On the other side, we can go into another specialization as well, Careful Carvings. Now the talent tree here, the first one, improve your ability to carve weapons and professional equipment, gaining +1 skill per point spent for a total of 30 points. And over here you also get additional bonuses related to crafting those items throughout the skill tree. Now after that you can either focus on specializing into polished production or the combative curiosities. I suck at speaking. So polished production, improve your ability to craft professional equipment, gaining +1 skill when crafting professional equipment per point spent in this one, and once again giving you additional bonuses while going through this skill tree, so you're focusing on profession equipment. Now after going through that tree you can either choose to focus in on crafting cooking quills, or you can focus on a Alchemicust mixing rod, or go into Scribe's quill. Now, if you're talking from a pure gold making perspective here, what used to be the most profitable was the Alchemist mixing rod, so keep that in mind if you want to min-max and make as much gold as possible through this spec specifically. I would say maybe go for the mixing rod. On the other side, you could also focus on this one, improve your ability to carve weapons, gaining +1 skill when crafting weapons, per point spent, once again for a total of 30 skill points, and after finishing this one, you can either choose to focus on staves, you can do bows, or you can even do codexes, aka offhands. So you can start focusing more on the exact weapon that you want to craft within this talent tree. Now, for Pursuit of Knowledge, this one improves your ability to craft in general, so let's take a look at the trees. The first one, Pursuit of Knowledge, gives you 1 skill when crafting inscription recipes per point spent, and once again you get some additional bonuses throughout, gaining +5 inspiration, +5 multicraft, and +5 resourcefulness, and towards the end you get +10, +10, +10, and +10 once again. So maxing out this skill tree gives you a lot of bonuses for everything. Then you can either go into multitasking, this one gives you more multicraft when crafting, and this works on every single inscription recipe, by the way. So multitasking, absolutely insane, gives you a lot of extra stuff when using, when crafting in general. For detail-oriented, it's the exact same, but with resourcefulness in this case, giving you more materials back while crafting as well. And then for Eureka, you get more inspiration while you're crafting. This is a good talent tree to go for absolutely everything, by the way, which we'll get more into at the end of the video after covering the next one, Pursuit of Perfection. Going to the skill trees here, Pursuit of Perfection gives you 1 skill point per point spent, while you're crafting inscription reagents. Now, you also get some bonuses while going through this tree, and then you can start focusing on improved inks, improved milling, or improved ciphers, so you can start focusing on one of those types of crafts. Now, when it comes to inscription, you can either make gold on going through Pursuit of Perception by being able to make, first of all, higher quality and higher quantities of both ink and also milling. Like when you're milling herbs, you want to have one scribe specified into milling, so you want to spend your first 40 skill points on your milling character only on Pursuit of Perfection and then improved milling. So you might want to have one scribe only for milling, just to give you more skill whenever you're milling, and to make milling go faster. So you get like a 30% increased milling speed, so you can make more gold per hour while milling as well. And then either the same character or a different character, you also want to focus on making pigments into ink. So I would say I would have one scribe focused on spending my first 60 skill points in, first of all, Pursuit of Perfection, then improved milling, and then improved ink. And I would want to have all those 60 skill points as early as possible, and that should be obtainable in the first week, with all the treasures we can find with the weekly quest, and by getting the first craft bonuses. So while skilling up Inscription, make sure to go for the first craft bonuses. So if you have something you haven't made, make that while skilling up to get that first craft bonus, to get the skill point, and get the Artisan's Metal, or I guess it's called something else this time. It's called Ingenuity or something like that, right? The Artisan's Acuity is what it's called. So focus on the first time craft bonuses. Now, after going for that, you can also go over to Pursuit of Knowledge to give you even more skill while making everything. So for example, if you want to make the best ink possible, you need to go for improved inks. You also need to have Pursuit of Perfection, but you also need to have Pursuit of Knowledge, and you also need to have multitasking. So you want to have one scribe spending 40 points in these two right here, and then spending another 60 points in these two right here, and then even go back down into resourcefulness afterwards as well. That way you can make the best ink possible, you will have the most multicraft possible while making ink, and you will also save the most materials possible through resourcefulness while making ink. So the thing is, even when you go down to careful carvings as well, and when you go to, for example, Dark Moon cards, if you want to make the best Dark Moon card you can, and you want to get as much resourcefulness as possible while crafting to get gold back, and also proc multi-crafting while crafting, you first of all want to max out this skill tree, max out this skill tree, and then let's say if you're focusing on Radiance, right, you would spend 30, 60, 80 skill points, and then after those 80 skill points, you would go over here, spend another 30 skill points for 110 skill points, 140 skill points, and 170 skill points. So in order to make the best Dark Moon cards you can for the most value that you can, and to make as much gold as possible from Dark Moon cards, you would want to have 170 inscription points. So there we go, that's basically the TLDR for Inscription. Those are the specializations you can go into, and a little bit more about them, how they work, and what I would do. So once again, there's several ways you can do this. I would have one milling character that also goes into crafting inks afterwards, and you can go for Dark Moon cards, but once again, to make that really worth it for you, you need to have 170 skill points, which will take you quite a while. We also don't know how valuable the Dark Moon cards will be in the War Within, because in Dragonflight, like, they were looking really good on paper, and then they added the whole fishing mechanic where people would just fish for Dark Moon cards. So suddenly crafting them from Inscription was not even worth the time it took, and it wasn't even worth the price of crafting cards when you could just get them from fishing. So hopefully that whole mechanic is out of the game now, so scribes can make more gold from Dark Moon cards. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video, hopefully this taught you a little bit more about Inscription and the way it works in the War Within, which, to be fair, is a lot of the same from Dragonflight with a couple of different changes as well. Now, if you want to make more gold in the War Within, do consider following me on Patreon, becoming a main member on Patreon as well. I will share the hottest gold making secrets over there and the best gold farms, and you will have one exclusive video per month that will never go live on YouTube. That way you can make the most gold possible, nobody else knows about it, and you can once again just make the most gold you can. Alternatively, check out my World of Warcraft gold making guides. We have one for Season of Discovery, Cataclysm, and I'm working on one for the War Within as well. So check out my gold making guides on my Patreon page for more gold making information, and as always, I want to thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you found it helpful and useful. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, let me know in the comments down below if you're going for Inscription in the War Within. Alternatively, which professions are you going for? Either way, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.